All right, here we go. Uncle Big Bog's can of worms. We got the sunglasses on because we wore them on the podcast. We didn't give a shit. You know? Swimbait Underground. Let's go. This is episode 2. My friend came up from SoCal and got me sick. So I kind of look like crap. So we got like the yachting fit or something on with the whole deal. And the sunglasses on inside. That's how we're rocking today. So this episode's brought to you by Cheese Balls because not even my dog will eat them shit. So we had to do something with them. So there you go. So with Toxic, before we get into the line through swim baits, we'll talk about something with Toxic. So we're going to the PCS show. I think it's March 7th through the 10th in Costa Mesa at the Orange County Fairgrounds. So I've gone for 3 years. I've split a booth with Nick the previous 2 years, and this year we're going to have Toxic and Blanked in the booth. The plan is that's going to be where I break out my ABS officially, and also we have a new iRod coming out with Matt Newman, the Corcus series. It's instead of the Genesis 3 series, it's the Corcus series. It's still the 7.6 rod. More details to come. I've been using it since last season. It has a little bit of a different feel to it than the regular Sniper, so it's going to be a great addition to the lineup and for anybody who wants to throw it. So we'll have that, and we'll have the new Old Man River at the Costa Mesa show, the PCS show, and we're also going to have like another strip again. So it'll be like me, Viking Head, Stay Bent, Blanked. I think Matt Pano and the Optimum booth is going to be over there. So it'll be a cool little area. Every day at 2 or 3 o'clock, we're going to do like a free bait giveaway. So you come to the booth, I'll be giving away an ABS snapper or hog or whatever I have. Hopefully, I am waiting for those still. So maybe I'm counting my chickens before they hatch. But this is the plan. So we're just going to keep you guys in the loop. So, yeah, that'll be a good show. It's an awesome show. Come out, check it out. There's like 7 hangars full of everyone. It's got larger every year. It was like a saltwater show, but now they got everything. So if you're in SoCal, def come out, check us out. Bunch of free stuff. It's always a good time. So anyways, let's go. Line through swim baits. It's kind of a hot topic right now, it seems like. I'm not here to comment on any controversy or anything like that. We're just going to, since it came up, line through swim baits are something that's been around a long time. And they catch a lot of fish. So I could give you my knowledge and maybe a couple tips to help you navigate, the landscape if you're just getting into it. I know now there's larger companies that are mass producing line throughs. So maybe they're being introduced to a new base of fishermen. So, that style swim bait's been around for a long time. What I have here is something that's all messed up because it has overspray on it. But this is the generic trout swim bait Whitmer Rago collab. I don't know all the history on it. I know this is from Japan, but you can see this is like a harness rig. It almost looks like the Bass Pro Shops bait, but this was released, I don't know, 20 years ago, 18 years ago, something. But it's like a mag draft, right? It has like the harness inside, fixed hook. One of the early swim baits from those guys who are pioneers in this. Then as those were fished, guys figured out that they could throw, with such a large rubber lure, it helps the fish throw the hook. There might have been other reasons, but I mean, that was the main reason from what I could see, right? So anyways, they come to a line through swim bait. So what that means is the line goes through the swim bait, comes out, and there's a treble hook or whatever hook. You could rig a frog hook up with a keeper or something. And then it lays right here, or it just hangs down. My brother-in-law just lets them dangle. I can't do it. I always bury the hook. He just lets them hang there like crankbait and does just fine. So anyways, because this is a large piece of rubber, you can see this is a large Rising Sun. So this is made by 316 Swim Baits. And then, so even back, 15 years ago, there was a selection of swim baits. There was stuff that's not around now. There was that were similar in shape, that were great baits, metal inserts, other different stuff. But we're just going to stick to what I use, and, like a little selection here that can introduce you. And then you could go, I'm sure you could find lots of line through swim baits on the market, but these are proven catchers, right? So like I said, the first one's the Rising Sun. 316 has been making soft baits a long time. I think when it comes to line through swim baits, they're definitely they led the way of innovation. And I mean, it's really not only the standard, but I don't really know if there's a better line through lineup. So anyways, this is a large Rising Sun. This is the one I prefer to throw. Some people like the smaller Rising Suns, like 6.5 inches. I prefer to throw this big one. They have like a hard resin weighting system here, which adds to durability. And they have a plastic line that goes through and out so that the line doesn't tear the nose of the bait. That's a problem for stuff like this Osprey, which is my one of my favorite line throughs. This is the full body version. And it doesn't have the plastic tube, right? So if you don't get it like a coffee straw or something and glue it in, when you set the hook, the line tears the nose and it'll run crooked. So anyways, with the Rising Sun, they make the regular model and then they make a top hook model, which sinks faster, right? So a lot of guys I see when they get these, they're like, oh, if I reel it too fast, it lists out and it rolls to the side. Well, especially with this large Rising Sun, if you're reeling it that fast, then you need to slow down. I'm not trying to be, pretentious, or it's just this bait was designed to do that, and historical facts will show that you throw this and it almost hovers. The slower you could reel this, if you think you're reeling slow, reel slower, and then you will catch on this bait 100%, bro. This is crazy. It just sits there and wobbles, and they smoke it. This 6.5 version, a lot of guys used to say you don't even need this. You could throw this and get the same bites because it's such a good bait, right? It's definitely a great bait. I prefer to throw the big dog. But this is also a great bait. You just reel it as slow as you can. That's just how these roll. If you want to reel them faster, you get the top hook version. This is a top hook version. There's a little tube there, so it goes through, line goes up to the back, and then you set the treble hook here, right? So you could fish it on the bottom. But you could also fish it as a bottom hook, and it's weighted more, so you could reel it faster, right? These are very affordable hand pour baits. They last forever. You could catch umpteen baits on these 316s, right? And then also he makes a line through weedless bait, the mission fish. You put a beast hook or EWG in here, line goes through here, the weight, it kind of sinks like a worm. And you could, I think it was designed to fish on the bottom, but you could reel this in and it gets smoked too. So I don't think they make this size anymore, but the mission fish is another great option if you're fishing near the bottom or wood or weeds or something. You want to look at this. And then, Jerry Rago, been around forever. This is I think this is the SKT with a boot tail on the back. And this here is a line through. So it comes through the nose, out here, treble hook. It has like a trout shape. And what I've done is I take a pin tube, like that doesn't have ink in it, and I'll chop it, push it through where the line goes in, and down to the lead, and then I'll pull it out and melt one side. So I melt it so it's like a flange, just a lighter, pushing on a table or anything like that. And then I glue it in, because if your line goes in here, it'll pull to one side and it'll tear through the plastic, and then it's kind of a pain, right? So that's one thing about these older line throughs that didn't come with the inserts. You can get like a coffee straw or a pin tube, stick it in there, and it solves all that. It's really not that hard. So Rago makes a bunch. I think he makes the BVD and the SKT. They're two different body shapes. Both have their place. I'm not going to say, when to throw each one, but when you're throwing line throughs, just like when you're throwing a crankbait or anything else, they're not real expensive. So I would grab more than one style, right? Like this is a whole different body shape than this, and it actually they don't fish the same. So even though they look kind of similar, this does stuff that this doesn't do, and it goes both ways. So I like this when I'm reeling faster and I need more draw power. I like this when I'm just barely turning the handle over a point, anything. I throw this most of the time, the Rising Sun, large Rising Sun. And if I'm not throwing this, I throw this Osprey. So this Osprey is the tournament talon, and that means it doesn't have the flat back as a fin and everything. It doesn't come with an insert. To be honest with you, I bought so many of these, I don't even know if they still sell them. But if they do, this is a great bait. This is more of a tail wag bait. It does have a head wobble and stuff, but this shakes, like the whole thing is just shaking, moving around. I like this in the spring for like weed flats and points, stuff like that, real shallow. I actually prefer this around cover like docks and post spawn when you can just let it hang in their face. I feel like I really get bit on this one because I could reel it a little slower. And this has more of a like violent swim. The whole body is vibrating everywhere, And then there's a lot of stuff like this. This is a Shasta Customs, I believe. And I think that's the name. I'm bad with names sometimes. But and this is just, it's not a generic shape, but there's a lot of swim baits that come in this form like this. It's a little different than, like, say, the Rising Sun and stuff because it's a little skinnier back here and the tail shape isn't the same. So it's going to have a different shimmy and perform differently in the water, just like a spinnerbait that has like a willow leaf or a Colorado leaf. You're going to get two different vibrations out of it. So there's a plethora of options out there. And there's a couple things you can do to your swim baits, to your line throughs to solve some issues. Because back in the day when we had these, there was no like get a hold of the swim bait guy or, like, oh, I'm getting all these baits that don't run exactly perfectly how I want to. It was just, that just wasn't the way it was. Like sometimes you had to do something to a lure. Like still to this day, the MS Slammers, the ones with the crooked joints are the ones that swim like not good. Those are the ones I want. Those are the ones that get bit 100%. So I'm not saying if your soft bait doesn't swim, it's going to get bit, but so there's some things you could do. I haven't seen it talked about, but if you ever get like a soft swim bait or any type of soft bait that's made out of plastisol and it feels like it's too stiff to swim, you could boil the back half of the bait. I mean, we used to do it with Huddleston's, not because they were faulty, but you could boil it, make it real soft if you were really creeping it through the water column or on the bottom and you just wanted that tail to barely move. You boil the back half of the bait. So get boiling water, you dip it in, you hold it in, like depending on the bait, 30 seconds, 45 seconds, a minute. And if you have a kinked tail, it'll solve that. You just hang it up so the tail hangs straight. Or as you boil it, you could tell that the soft plastic is getting softer and softer. So like a minute and a half. You're going to have to experiment. I don't know what consistency each lure's plastic is, right? But you could take a lure that maybe you're not happy with and boil it, and it will soften that tail up and sometimes add action. And another thing is just make sure you have nail weights. If you have nail weights, you could add them anywhere. If your bait's listing to one side, you could add a nail weight on one side. It's going to make it sink faster, but sometimes it's just necessary to get the performance out of it that you want, right? And then another thing is if you have a lure and it has a sweet spot, like your lure should swim up to a point, like these Rising Suns, they swim as slow as you could turn the handle up to a point, right? And then the top hooks you could reel faster. But reel that thing slow. I know that sometimes it's contrary to your belief, like that they're just staring at it and it's not super realistic looking, maybe is your train of thought. But just reel that line through really slow. Most of the time, that's what they're going to want. Like they're going to come out. And I'm not speaking, I do it on the Delta, which is like a weedy, shallow fishery. And then, years ago when I traveled back east, we were throwing depths 250s, 8-inch Huddlestons they didn't even want to look at, right? Because they wanted that 10-inch profile. Well, this 8-inch Rising Sun has such a long profile when it swims. It's almost as long as a depth, right? So these fish were coming from like 15 feet. I mean, this was years ago, but they were coming a long way for these boot-style baits because you could just let it hover in their face, and they had time to come up from 20 feet or to come out from cover and get them. That's an advantage that it's just there. It's not gone. So take advantage of that. Like if a bait really likes to be reeled slow, and just kind of hover there, then reel it slow. I mean, barely turn the handle. That's the advice I give people if they're not good with soft baits is get a Rising Sun and reel as slow as you can, and then change your gear ratio and reel slower. I know it's rough, but I'm telling you, it pays off, dude. So, yeah, I'm not sure what's, it's weird that there's a resurgence now. These have always been great baits. Now that there's bigger makers making them, I know there's like a top hook line through now, which is a single hook. There's a lot of new stuff coming out, but it's not new. It's just like a play on an old bait, right? So I'm sure the new baits catch fish, and if they're at your tackle shop, grab them, throw them, make them work for you. But if you're online or whatever and you're looking for a proven swim bait, I mean, just from my experience, you want to go with the Jerry Rago, an Osprey, or a Rising Sun, a 316. 316 is the industry leader in line through swim baits. I mean, I have no affiliation with them or nothing. I'm just speaking facts, right? Like they got the little ones. They've had the top hooks that are effective. Their fish catch mid-teen fish, before live scope. Not anything against live scope. I'm just saying. They used to have like a little one that was like a shad with a popper mouth that was a line through. They just have set the bar for line through swim baits, and I think they're like less than $30. You really can't beat a handmade, hand-poured swim bait with this harness. I mean, proven for a decade plus. So me just trying to add value out there to my customers or anybody watching this, I can only recommend what I know and what is fact to me. And if I'm going to spend money, this is what I'm buying. I mean, and granted, this is the slow style reel, and like I said, if you want to reel a little faster, get the top hook. But this is a little, they all have different attributes. So, I mean, you really want to get as many as you can to find what works the best, right? Because like this will get bites and this will get bites. But on the same day, one may supersede the other one, just like, spinner baits or any other lure. So I would get as many as you can, a few different kind. But if you're going to get one, this one. And if you're going to get one, I guess just get the 6.5 because this is universal everywhere you go. And I would even say get the bluegill color no matter where you fish. The trout, shad, I don't care what they're eating. It seems like this subtle bluegill, little bit of orange on the nose. It mimics everything. You really can't go wrong with that. So there we go. So Uncle Bing Bong's can of worms. I don't know if that added any value. I'm not here to stir the pot. I just know that it's, this is a relevant topic right now. And I'll give you an unbiased opinion. This is just me. I like to fish swim baits. You know what I mean? Like straight up. So this is what I found. I even have this. I didn't show. This is the K9 that 316 made. I don't even think they make it anymore. And this, I think, was designed to reel faster. You can see the body shape is like diamond. It comes through the water. It doesn't blow out on the faster retrieves, but I'm not sure why they stopped making it. I still have some, but probably because reeling that line through really slow is the deal, bro. I mean, it's just, yes, reel it slow. So, all right, it's early in the morning. I just wanted to get episode 2 out there with this line through shit. I still got to edit it. I don't know. No sound effects. No cool sound effects on this episode. I'll just kind of breaking it down. Thanks, cheese balls. The fuck out of here. My dogs won't even eat those fucking things. And 99 cents grocery outlet. That's my sponsor for the show too, I guess. This little yerba mate. I'm out of coffee. So grocery outlet. You're the real goat. Stop selling fucking cheese balls. You know what I mean?